What's up, everybody? This is Rappin' Zach. These are going to be my top 10 records of 2020, all right? There's a ton of stuff out there. This is just what I've fallen in love with the most this year. And it wasn't hard because these 10 records, they were where they're at right away. But there's so much other music that's just as good. It may be in the top 20 or top 30. You know, there's a lot of good records out there. But I finally got a record from one of my top 3 favorite MCs. The other 2 top 3 favorite MCs of all time need to drop something. I know one of them soon, Pharoah Monch, is going to be coming out with a record. I don't know if it's going to be this year or early next year, but the group is called 13. And it is like a groovy, bluesy rock thing, but it's hip-hop. And it's Pharoah Monch. If you don't know who Pharoah Monch is, go check out Pharoah Monch. Pharoah Monch from OK, the Organized Confusion group from the 90s that did like Stress and Straight Bullet. Hands down, top 3 favorite MCs of all time. And the other one is MF Doom. He's a mystery, he wears a mask, but lyrical genius, and I've been a fan for at least 20 years. He's been in my top 3 favorite MCs. So this list is my top 10 favorites, and there's room and a little bit of time for someone else to sneak in there. So here it is, my top 10 hip-hop records for 2020. Album number 10, Action Bronson, Only for Dolphins. It's been a must-have for me this year. It is witty, funny, very experimental, and he pushes boundaries, and I can appreciate that. He has lines that really make you think and then giggle because he delivers things in such a strange way. Like, I may not be able to touch my toes, but I'm still going to F these hoes. If you were to hear that in any other context, you'd be like, oh, that's a misogynistic piece of shit. But then when you see him and how he acts within his group, he's just being silly. Because somebody probably made fun of him for his size. This is how he's reacting. He's got edginess and boundary-pushing lyrics. He's got a little bit of silliness. It's an album worth checking out. Action Bronson, Only for Dolphins. Album number 9, Armani Caesar, The Liz. This one caught me by surprise. When I first heard of her, I saw another overly sexualized, very beautiful woman, reminding me very much of Megan Thee Stallion or Cardi B, you know, that kind of Little Kim, overly sexualized but owning it type of thing. And then I heard her rap. Not only is she that very sexual and sexy woman and delivers that lyrically and physically, if you're a battle rapper, she might eat you up. Like, she can come with bars. Like, I'm very, very impressed with the whole record. It's worth checking out. She's been around for a minute, but this album is new with the Griselda record label. So definitely check out Armani Caesar, The Liz, number 9 on my list. Number 8, Action Bronson's co-host for Fuck That's Delicious, Mayhem Loren. Got a new album out this year called Glass 2.0. Again, another like lyrically witty MC. He challenged you with his lyrics. He can be silly with it, but he's got some deep stuff on there too. You know, he's got the edginess from the street, but he's also learned how to be a little more universal with things. And the beats, the selection of beats and samples, they just made a good record. And I can't stop listening to it. So check out Mayhem Loren, Glass 2.0. About it. All right, I'm going to get real local Tacoma now. Number 7. And I had to do 7 because at 7, the Panther. This guy came out of nowhere for me. I had a friend introduce me to his music a while back. My boy Coley was like, I need you to introduce you to 7 the Panther. I never got to meet the dude, but I started listening to his music. I dug it. But then he dropped this album, HIA. Just came out this year, not even all that long ago. He's a local dude, so check him out. So you're supporting local stuff and you know, supporting a small business. But also, if you are from the era I'm at, the late 80s, early 90s was when hip-hop really grabbed me and made me want to be an MC. He has that. The beats, that's a real boom bap with the twist of that classic West Coast. And his delivery and sound is so reminiscent of the, you know, he is Rakim and G-Rap. He is that. He is hard, but lyrical. He gets deep about real issues in life. He talks about family, the streets. You know, he gets political. He's a conscious dude, very conscious rapper. And this might sound weird, but if you're white, I suggest you listen to him from a Black Power point of view. It might give you another understanding. This is a personal opinion of mine, but I think people get Black Power mixed up and think it's a black version of white supremacy, and it's not. And I think 7 is the cat that can help you maybe understand that a little bit better. So number 7 the Panther, HIA. It's worth a listen, especially if you like that old school boom bap. Number 6 for 2020 is, I discovered him through the Griselda guys, and he's been guest spots on a million things I've listened to. I think most notable was on Your Old Droog's album. He had a lot of guest spots with that guy, YOD. Is Makahomi. He finally released a full-length record. He's got a lot of stuff out there, kind of scattered singles and EPs and stuff. He did an album that was fantastic with your boy from Soul Assassins and Cypress Hill, DJ Muggs. But this album dropped, and it is hardcore lyricism in the fashion and style of boom bap, but with this psychedelic kind of feel to it. This new trend with lyrical rappers nowadays is they're rapping over just like looped samples instead of like making actual beats. They'll just take a sample, and it's different. It's something that has been inspiring to me. I would say out of all of them, Makahomi's the one that does it best. He's kind of a mystery to me. I want to get more into him as a person. Every time I try to look him up, there's like pictures of him. There's one of him in a top hat, and he's always wearing a mask. And this is even before COVID. So he's got a character he's created, or maybe a character he's hiding, like visually. But worth checking out. Makahomi. I give you the name of his record, but just go to wherever you listen to music and listen to the newest record, because it's a long, like, I think Spanish name, and I'll screw it all up. All right, number 5 is a guy I've been following for close to 20 years. And he dropped a record that not only reminds you that lyrically he'll chop heads, but he also dropped a record that can show you how creative a human being can be, and how vicious a human being can be, and how conscious him as a person is. And that's Royce da 5'9". He came out with The Allegory this year, and that record's been in constant rotation for me. Talks about his challenges with mental health, addiction and alcoholism, you know, of course, political street issues, just the overall view of racism in this country. That's a big topic. It's a big topic in hip hop. So he does it in a way, though, that this is gonna sound fun. He does it in a way to where I don't necessarily feel guilty, but I learn as a white MC and a white American in this country that does understand what privilege is. He breaks stuff down for people in a way that I think it's universally understood. So check that out. Royce the 5'9", The Allegory. Hands down where it needs to be. It's top 5 record of the year for me. All right. Number 4 is a group made up of 2 people, and I've been following their careers individually for close to 20 plus years. I think it was 1996 when I first heard Company Flow, and it was something I'd never heard before. Like, it was some futuristic, sci-fi wildness, just with sounds piled on top of each other and lyrics that made any battle rapper happy, you know? That group produced, he produced the group, but the group put forth a man known as LP. He had a fantastic solo career, created his own label, and not much after that, Outkast introduced a battle rapper to the world known as Killer Mike. Those 2 people have come together 20 some odd years later and created Run the Jewels. My top 4 record, number 4 on my list, Run the Jewels, RTJ 4. This record is fantastic. It's everything an RTJ record needs to be. And it's not even my favorite Run the Jewels record, but it's good. Run the Jewels has not made a record that's been bad. So Run the Jewels, RTJ 4, it's worth every second of listening. They did stuff on this record that I don't think a lot of people realize they did. This record took a long time to make. And when it came out, it addressed all the issues we're dealing with today with police brutality, racism, government, capitalism, corporate greed. It deals with all this stuff in a very specific way to where if you listen to it, you think that they are going right after these specific things that have happened recently. But what's crazy is it was written before most of this stuff happened. And what's sad in a way is that they're addressing issues that have been going on for a long, long time on this record. And now that it's pushed in our faces a little more, I think a lot of people are like, oh, they're addressing, you know, the Floyd situation or all the police brutality situation. And they are, but not those specific situations, because this music was actually written before some of these incidences even happened. So yeah, check out RTJ4. It's worth a listen. Number 3 on my list. One of the hottest records for sure. That's why it's at number 3. Another lyrical genius out of Gary, Indiana, I believe, hooked up with one of the most popular underground style producers. And that's my boy Freddie Gibbs. Did an album with Alchemist, and that is Alfredo. I don't know if I'm late to the game, but I just caught on the other day that it's Alchemist and Freddie Gibbs make Alfredo. It's like a weird little play on both their names put together. I don't know if that was intentional or what they were doing. I assume they're clever enough to where that is what they were doing. But this album is, again, it's worth the listen. It's worth the spin. You know, check that out, and check out his album before that. It came out late last year, I want to say, produced by Madlib. It was called Bandana, another record we're listening to. But Alfredo has been in constant rotation for me for months and months and months now. During quarantine, especially yard work, Alfredo was on. It's just, he's got a voice and a flow about him that is so unique. You know when you're listening to a Freddie Gibbs song. So yeah, if you're looking for new hip hop for sure, Freddie Gibbs is a guy to check out. All right. All right. Down to the number 2 spot on my list of top 10 hip hop records for 2020. This one is something I've been anticipating for a while because I've caught on to this young MC that is just lyrically, she is like a machete. She just slicing, cha, 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 cha. But she's super conscious, super beautiful, and one of those MCs that she's just one of the best MCs. And for me, the thing I like about her is she's got a style of her own. She's got some rhythms and cadences that are unique to her, because there's a lot of people just doing the same thing right now. You know, lyrically might be different, but the cadence is the same, or the cadence might be slightly different, but the lyrics are the same. She does everything the way she wants to do it, and it sounds good. And what I love about it most, it has an essence and a feel, mainly because of her voice, of MC Lyte, who is another one of my probably top 20 MCs. So, Sha Rock. The album is called The Sharecropper's Daughter. Almost forgot that for a second. It is worth every second. That record is number 2 on my list for a reason. That is a powerful, powerful MC, a powerful, powerful person of color, and a very powerful woman that I will argue with anybody that will say something as stupid as she's pretty dope for a girl. She is dope. She is an MC of MCs. You know, her and Rhapsody right now are probably some of the best rappers out there. And I don't want to hear people say they're pretty dope for a girl. That is the essence of MC Lyte and Bahamadia. 2 women that have been in the game forever that could kill it on the mic against anybody, man or woman. Sha Rock and, in my opinion, Rhapsody are those 2 now for this generation. I can't stop listening to this record. It's a record I listen to and inspires me to be a better man, to be a better father, to be more conscious of my decisions in life and how I carry myself as a human. It's worth every second, just like every album on this list. Sha Rock, The Sharecropper's Daughter, at number 2. And finally, the number 1 album on my list for top hip-hop records of 2020. It's almost unfair because it just dropped like on the 13th, like a few days ago. And it's already my number 1 record. I'm a little biased because he's one of my top 3 favorite MCs of all time. Because lyrically, there's nobody else like him. Stylistically, there's nobody else like him. Even the way he looks, there's not an MC that looks anything like my boy A$AP Rock. He just dropped, what is it called? Everybody's got all these long names. The Spirit World Field Guide. Is it Animal Spirit World Field Guide? Anyway, it's that new. And I've listened to it all the way twice. And I'll tell you what, it's one of those records where you need quiet. It's like a meditation. It is long too. There's 20 some odd full songs, not a bunch of skits and weird. It's songs. And you sit down and listen to this record and you will be delightfully confused. This guy has a way with words, wordplay, cadence that I've never heard another MC do. And that's why he's in my top 3 favorite MCs. So definitely check out A$AP Rock's new joint. Best record of 2020 for me. All right. You might not agree with my list, and that's okay. I want to hear what you're into, what you're listening to. Like I said, I'm going to start doing a weekly review, 1 album a week, to introduce somebody to some new music that they've never heard, and get introduced to some music maybe I've never heard, or someone I might have heard but not really cared for. Maybe you can shed some light on an artist I might not know much about, and it can be from anything. I got 2 little girls. Kid bops and pop music is a big part of my life. I was in a heavy metal band for almost 10 years with my boys in Utterance. I've been an MC my whole life. So, and I'm a jazz head. Like, I play the saxophone. So whatever you have that you think I'd be interested in, or maybe even hate, and you just want to hear my opinion, hit me up. I really do want to start sharing experiences with music, what we do and don't like, all right? So this is my top 10 of the year. It might be your bottom 10, and that's okay too. But other than that, I just want to do a couple honorable mentions. Some legends from the 90s and 80s have dropped some records this year that I think are worth checking out, just so you get an understanding of where I might come from. Busta Rhymes just dropped his newest record. It's a sequel to the, what is it? I wrote it down. The Extinction Level Event. This is part two of that, I believe. It's fun. It's a great record. Had a good time. He does a song with Kendrick Lamar that I really like a lot on there. And then my boys from the South, the Goody Mob, had just dropped a new record, and it's a lot of fun. I haven't gotten real deep into it, but I just had it playing in the house while I was doing stuff, and I wasn't mad. It was fun. It was a good time. The other one, Public Enemy. Legendary, politically activated, the Public Enemy. And what else do you say? It's Public Enemy, you know? And it is done in the tradition of Public Enemy with a ton of guest spots on there that might blow your mind. So that's worth checking out as well. Also, another big one, West Side Gun and Conway the Machine from Griselda. Not only have they released records this year, that record label has probably released 30 records in the last year. But Conway the Machine did Lulu with Alchemist. It's worth checking out. And he also did From King to a God, which is way worth checking out. And then West Side Gun did his big debut on Shady Records. And from what I hear, that's his last record with Shady too, because he's left the label already. But he did Who Makes the Sunshine, I believe is what it's called. I can't remember. But that is full of great guest appearances, great sounds. It's another one of those records where he just takes samples and loops them and does like, the way he raps is almost like a spoken word poetry jam, but super gangster. And I love how he does it, and I love how he's his own hype man. And his references to old school like WWF wrestling and stuff. So those albums are worth checking out as well. There's a ton of music out there. Get at me. This is Rappin' Zach, and I hope that we can start a little relationship when it comes to this music thing.